The war ended, but endings do not rebuild what was destroyed. The Brothers' War was over. Urza was gone. Mishra was gone. Argoth was gone. But Dominaria remained. The Brothers' War aftermath. At first, there was silence. Not peace, not healing, silence. The kind that comes after too much noise. The survivors did not understand history, not yet. They understood hunger, cold, injury, loss, and the terrible question of what came next. The old centers of power had failed. Cities that once commanded regions could barely feed themselves. Roads were gone, records were gone, rulers were gone. Dominaria had not simply lost a war, it had lost coordination. The machines remained, not as armies, not as weapons, as monuments, warnings made of iron, proof that brilliance had nearly ended the world. And still, people rebuilt. They always do. Stone by stone, field by field, fire by fire. Not because they believed the world was safe, but because survival demanded motion. Much of what had been known was gone. Artifice became rumor. Engineering became superstition. The old machines were studied, but rarely understood. Knowledge had survived the war, but not intact. People needed someone to blame. Urza, Mishra, their followers, their machines, their ambition. But blame did not fill granaries, and anger did not rebuild cities. The war became memory, then story, then warning. But every village remembered it differently. To some, Urza was a savior. To others, a destroyer. To some, Mishra was a monster. To others, a brother lost before anyone understood why. In the absence of empire, smaller powers rose. Town councils, warlords, priests, mages, farmers with enough grain to bargain. Authority returned slowly, and often unevenly. Trust was harder to rebuild than stone. Neighbors remembered old loyalties. Cities remembered old betrayals. Every stranger could be a survivor or an enemy. The war had ended, but suspicion remained. Dominaria itself bore the wound. Forests did not return overnight. Rivers carried ash. Soil turned thin. Animals vanished from places they had once filled. The world was alive, but it was not well. So the survivors adapted. They salvaged what they could. They reused metal from dead machines. They built tools from weapons. They turned battlefield wreckage into plows. And in that quiet transformation, Dominaria began to change. Urza became a shadow over history, absent but never gone. His choices had ended the war. His choices had scarred the world. And no one knew that he was still out there. Phyrexia faded from public memory. Most survivors never knew the truth. They knew the brothers, they knew the machines, they knew the blast. But the hand behind Mishra became a secret history. And still, hope returned. Not loudly, not all at once, but in small things. A repaired roof, a planted field, a child born after the war, a song remembered. Survival did not erase the past, it built over it. And beneath every rebuilt road, beneath every new wall, beneath every story told beside a fire, the Brothers' War remained. Dominaria was rebuilding, but it was not returning to what it had been. The old world was gone, and what rose after it would be shaped by the wound. Because after a war that breaks the world, Rebuilding is never the same as healing.